1995, we had a lovely young girl by the name of Lynn Collin, and she went out and did workshops in schools.
Designed to introduce children from all over Europe to each other's artistic and poetic work, and also to help the children as individuals to engage more deeply with poetry, to overcome kind of the alienation and elitism that exists.
All the poems, they're all really different. Like there was funny ones, there was long ones, short ones.
Bhína dáanta cógas an múl agus bhína pictória anna dáthúil agus glóta.
It's sad the way some people, like they can write funny stuff, but some, like you don't know if it's actually going on in their lives, like the reality, reality of the way some teenagers are very serious lives, and some are so different, and realising like the difference between some teenagers, even though they go at the same age, it's sad. Like, so.
It's like some were serious, but like you could see that they're having a laugh the way they're writing them, and then when it's put in the book, it might like make people go forward and write poems because they don't think it's that serious. Like they can have a laugh writing them and stuff.
To know like that people are reading and you're actually reading it then, and you actually know how they feel. I thought it was really good, and then the art is unreal.
I'm facilitating workshops where groups of students are gathered from various kind of cultural backgrounds and various places all over Ireland, and we're going to do poetry workshops that are designed to be a kind of fun, physical, interactive introduction to poetry, to take children's fear of writing poetry away and make it something fun that they'll engage with in future, because it seems to me, and I think to a lot of people, that children see poetry as something frightening and boring.
The workshops continued. The schools were absolutely marvellous in cooperating with us.
I was very surprised and delighted by how easy it is for them to access their imaginations, and not to just write something they might have heard before or that they think you'd expect them to write, but very easily to kind of slip into original, creative thought.
All the pictures are really colourful and they're all different as well.
Je crois que c'est une très bonne idée de laisser les enfants choisir les poèmes qui vont dans le livre, parce que c'est qu'est-ce que les enfants ils veulent.
She'd like near Coolmay already mentioned before August. Bhína pictória bhí siad anna like dathúil agus bhí siad anna difriúil.
I use various techniques like running around, random words, tearing out words from newspapers and using those, automatic writing, various kind of techniques to support the children in their journey into poetry and to help make writing kind of the game or the enjoyable hobby that it is, or the enjoyable life choice that it is.
We found that we had all these poems and wondering what to do with them. I asked the children, well, what do you think? Would you prefer to have a book, or will we do posters next time out? And they all said, we want a book.
The book will become more and more an expression of young people's creativity and the issues that young people feel they would like people to read and people to listen to, and that they would like to write about themselves.
It's always, across the board, so amazing how original and how inventive and how honest and how brave the children can be, and put something down on paper that's, you know, stunning. It's kind of simple but honest and beautiful, and something that you'd work for weeks to get an adult group to produce.
He looks up and sees he has failed and all his dreams have disappeared. He came home with me and I was stung by a bee in the box at Ha. But he says to himself, he always has next to him.
So their poetry was international. So I realized then really that Eurochild could be not just local to Cork, but it could be an international book.
I love the access that Eurochild gives me to children from different cultural backgrounds, different linguistic ability, different socio-cultural backgrounds, where maybe previously, not during this project, I've had group leaders say to me, these children have no imaginations, these children have no vocabulary, and it's never the case. This year, for the first time, we've invited children from primary schools around Cork to come into Civic Trust House, which is where Tickfully is based, and to help us to select the poetry and the artwork that's going into Eurochild 2012. The content of the book would reflect what it is that young people actually do want to read about and want to write about. I was surprised by a lot of things. I was surprised by how aware they are of the age and ability differences and how important it is to be fair in the selection of work by children of differing ages and abilities.
And I think it is marvellous that this year we're going into Euroteen.
Myself and Kathy Darcy talked about widening the scope of Eurochild into a separate book for teenagers, and because we felt that a lot of teenagers wouldn't necessarily find the same appeal in the types of poetry and art used in Eurochild.
There's a real need for teenage voices to be heard, and I'm delighted that Eurochild is doing that and giving teenagers the opportunity to voice, to have freedom to voice whatever it is they want to talk about. Well, this is with teenagers. It's always very dark at the start, and it's always kind of brought in as a joke. Like if I play a game where there's a story competition and we have to continue the story, everyone always dies, all the time, very soon, and over again, if I keep making the characters come back to life. And it just turns out, as far as I'm concerned, teenagers are never given a chance to talk about these things. If you take it seriously, they'll come out with more serious things, and they'll end up having the freedom to write what they need to write.
I thought it was really good because it was like, you know, when you read poems from like the known ones, like they were so different. They were all about like they were all messing and having fun. And then when you read ones from like Ukraine and stuff, they're all on about like politics, and it's all different.
Both the workshops and the young editors, they allowed the kids to see that they had the freedom to choose poems and, you know, say that they liked things they wouldn't, and discuss things that they wouldn't be able to discuss among adults that they knew, like their parents or teachers or anything like that, but that they might discuss with their friends. And that's what Euroteen is all about. It's a book of teenage poetry for teenagers by teenagers.
Children themselves being the judges, and I think this is Eurochild come full circle when they first decided it's a book they wanted.
Also, we've asked them to choose the artwork that will go on the cover of Eurochild, and they've been fantastic to choose work that has lots of colours, lots of impact. So overall, that whole experience has been really educational for me, and I hope that in future years we can continue to develop that aspect of kind of young ownership of the project.
You know, we've had great launches in City Hall year after year after year, and then we decided we had to become more professional.
Kind of prestigious launch ceremonies organised where public figures, politicians would come and speak and be presented with the book, and the children would get a chance to read their work. And I'm standing in front of the exhibition of Eurochild art, which is on as part of Culture Night here in Cork. So I think the team works incredibly hard to disseminate the book as widely as possible. There'll be far more workshops here, there'll be workshops in every city in Europe, because it kind of galls me that there are children in Cork, let alone in the rest of Europe, who don't know about Eurochild and don't have that chance.
And, you know, hopefully have the project grow the way that Eurochild has grown and become, you know, the same kind of staple. And with Eurochild, we get poems in every year, unsolicited. With before we sent out application forms and requests for poetry, we get poems in, and hopefully in a few years, your team will be exactly the same.
Well, actually, I thought it was fantastic. I loved to see the way the lads engaged and interacted, and just got down to writing.
Especially, I loved the initial icebreaker where they were asked their stream of consciousness, just to write down whatever came to their head.
You could really see their creativity emerging, lots of different ideas, characterisation coming up. It was fantastic.
Last year, several students, as I said, from writers' groups that I run, got poems into Eurochild, and it meant the world to them. It was an amazing thing for them. It did, I wouldn't exaggerate to say, it changed their lives. It made them feel they could be poets, and I just would like to see every child have that opportunity. And I think Eurochild is the thing that's out there saying to children, you can be a poet.